Korean ramen is way too spicy for Denmark. A German town votes to kill all the pigeons in the town. And the Chiquita Banana Company apparently was financing a terrorist organization. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in existence. I'm your host, Jonesy. I have 3 strange news stories from all over the world. Let's go. Denmark recalls Korean ramen for being way too spicy. Too spicy for the Danes, it appears. Didn't you guys used to be Vikings? What happened to you? You used to be strong, hairy pillagers with large, buff chests, just taking on all manners of temperatures out there in the world, wearing very little clothing. And now, little spicy ramen's taking you down. Very disappointed in you. Back to potatoes for you, Danes. It appears Denmark has recalled several spicy ramen noodle products from a South Korean company called Samyang, claiming that the capsaicin levels in them could poison consumers. Well, they do have a point. There's ramen, and then there's Korean ramen. There's spicy, and then there's Korean spicy. They kind of take it up a notch. Let's keep reading and find out if they're just being cowardly. How do you say you're a coward in Korean? Now, we have here 3 fiery flavors of this instant ramen line that are being withdrawn from Denmark. We have the Bulldog 3 times spicy and hot chicken, the 2 times spicy and hot chicken, and the hot chicken stew. Has anyone tried these? There's a photo of the packaging. Well, this is on you. If the image on the package didn't give you a clue on how spicy this was going to be, that's, there's like exploding bombs in a devil chicken with flames coming out of its beak. This small image of a demon in the corner with some red chili peppers with Satan's face on them as well. I mean, come on, what do you... It's pretty clear what you're getting from this. It's unknown if any specific incidents have prompted the Danish authorities into taking action. The Danish Veterinary and Food Administration. Veterinary and Food Administration? They've combined the veterinary side and the human food side into one administration. Well, I guess that's how you save on some money. They say it had assessed that the levels of capsaicin, am I saying this correctly? I think so. Capsaicin in a single packet to be, quote, so high that they pose a risk of the consumer developing acute poisoning. It says further, if you have these products, you should discard them or return them to the store where they were purchased. They emphasize not to give these to children for whom extremely spicy food can cause a lot of harm. I have been exposed to a great deal of Asian food. As you know, I've traveled to these countries. Have you been exposed to something called a numbing spice? This is pretty ubiquitous in Chinese food, like real traditional Chinese food where you can come across numbing spice. This is the spiciest stuff I've ever had. It doesn't even, if I was to describe how it tastes, pain. The taste would be pain. Your whole face becomes numb and you sweat out your eyeballs. It's not enjoyable at all. I don't know why people put this on their... You'll find it in soups occasionally. Numbing spice. That's what it's called. That should let you know right there that this isn't going to be an enjoyable experience. After 2 bites, now your mouth is numb. You don't even taste the food at that point. I don't know. Sadomasochism is probably the origin story of this numbing spice, is my guess. Now, the notice of this recall of the spicy ramen has sparked some heated discussion online. People are amused by the reactions, and many have claimed that the Danes have a very low tolerance for spice anyway. Someone wrote, I had a friend from Denmark who thought breaded shrimp with a little bit of ground pepper on it was too spicy. Not surprised they think this ramen is poison. So I guess the spice shaming is going to continue. I'll tell you one thing that could be the fallout of this is you might create the weirdest black market I've ever seen, like underground spicy ramen dens all over Europe. Hey, I got you spicy ramen, huh? What do you want, 2 times, 3 times? Follow me down this alley. A German town has just voted to kill all the pigeons. The pigeon-human relationship, guys, has always been a complex one. Originally, we domesticated these birds, and at some point we got bored of them and just tossed them into the sidewalks and the gutters of our urban areas. I've heard them referred to as rats with wings and whatnot, and people overall are kind of annoyed by pigeons, but something has taken a very drastic turn in this German town called Limburg an der Lahn. It's in the western German state of Hesse. It's voted to exterminate its 700-strong pigeon population. It's kind of funny that they know how many pigeons exactly, and that there's 700 exactly. How odd. They're taking a pigeon census over there in the German town of Limburg an der Lahn. We do not like the pigeons. Exterminate the pigeons! A referendum was just held on June 9th, and the council's decision to kill the birds proved controversial. No kidding, yeah. Well, there are animal rights activists out there who will step up and attack you for voting on this sort of activity. Just over 53% of the residents voted on approving the killing of all the pigeons. My goodness, the residents. The residents have spoken! We will kill all these dirty pigeons, down to the last 700 of them. And we'll find the babies if we can. I've never seen a baby pigeon, but I'm sure there are some hiding. Don't think you can hide, and don't think you can... you can protect the pigeons by hiding them in your attics and in your basements. We would find them. We have a quote here from the mayor. The mayor's got a cool name, Marius, which sounds very like a gladiator. The mayor, Marius. Marius probably talks like this. Today's result was unpredictable for us. The citizens have made use of their right and decided that the animals should be reduced by the falconer. In total. Okay, now we're going to get into the method in which the falconer will destroy all the pigeons. Still no reason why the community is in such an uproar about the presence of the pigeons. The falconer is going to lure the birds into a trap, hit them over the head with a wooden stick to stun them, and then break their necks. Wow, sorry, children, that were listening to that. Quite shocking. Goodness, man. Hit them over the head with a wooden stick. Animal rights campaigners were very horrified when the plan was announced. Yeah, I'd imagine they are. They were. They don't want to hear about this plan to bash all the pigeons in the head with a bat and then break their necks. There's a quote here from the Limburg City Pigeon Project Manager named Tanya. That's an odd position to have in the community. Yes, I'm the Pigeon Project Manager. That's right. Well, you won't have your job much longer if they destroy all the pigeons, Tanya. So I'm imagining she's going to defend the pigeons. She says, it can't be that we kill animals just because they annoy us or they're a nuisance. That's not acceptable. I kind of agree with Tanya. Now, the cull of these pigeons is set to be carried out over the next 2 years. Critics say that as well as being cruel, pigeon culls aren't really effective since any remaining birds will reproduce and replenish the population rather quickly. Remarkably, some studies show that pigeon numbers can even increase following a cull. Oh. They are citing a case in Switzerland, which had a pigeon population of around 20,000 in the town of Basel. And from 1961 to 1985, the city killed around 100,000 pigeons each year, but the population remained very stable. 100,000 each year. Wow, that's a serious culling. We have here, guys, defenders of the pigeon. It's a group called Pigeon Action. We are Pigeon Action. Hoo, hoo. We have an alternative solution. It's now known as the Basel model, whereby citizens were warned against feeding the animals. Pigeon lofts were also installed so that eggs could easily be removed from them. As a result, Basel's pigeon population plummeted by 50% within 4 years. So the Pigeon Action Fund. Sorry. I want to know how they answer the phone. Woo! Pigeon Action Foundation. Woo! This is Terry. The article goes on to discuss how else are European cities tackling their pigeon problems. I didn't know the pigeon was such a problem over there. Apparently, many German cities are plagued by the pigeons. They're plagued with the cooing gray birds. And it says in the UK, as elsewhere, birds of prey have been enlisted to pick off pigeons. I love how they call it enlisted, birds of prey enlisted. Yes, we're looking. They put out a call online. We're looking to enlist any birds of prey out there. We like hawks. We'll accept it. Any eagles out there looking to make a little side buck? Please come and pick off the pigeons. But this means that unsightly droppings are swapped for the more gruesome sight of carcasses. So, all right, I'm kind of gleaning some of the reasons why they don't like the pigeons. We have the annoying cooing, the unsightly droppings. I guess, is that enough reason? I don't know. It would seem to me that there's more annoying things going on in your city than pigeon droppings. But maybe, I guess you don't live in a city where people are just shooting each other in the neck. So, wow, what's it like to live in such an amazing, just perfect culture? I could only wish that I live in such a paradise where the people go to the town hall meeting and be like, but the pigeons are cooing and they're pooping and we don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it either. The town halls in my community are like, there's too many smash and grabs. They took my baby last week out of my Volvo. Yay! The Chiquita Banana Company was found liable for financing a paramilitary group. A paramilitary group, apparently. I think that means a terrorist organization. I'm not sure, though. Let's find out. A jury. I'm not sure if it's a grand jury. It doesn't say. On Monday, they found banana company Chiquita Brands International liable for financing the Colombian paramilitary group called Autodefensas Unidas de Colombia. Ooh, that sounds like a dangerous organization. It's got paramilitary in the title, too, here. So they say Chiquita knowingly provided substantial assistance to the Autodefensas Unidas de Colombia paramilitary group to a degree sufficient to create a foreseeable risk of harm to others. Chiquita is one of the world's largest banana producers, if you don't know. They've been ordered to pay a total of $38 million to the families of 8 victims of the UAC, which was a far-right military group that was designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. The group disbanded in 2006, though, so this stuff happened a long time ago. It's finally going to trial. That seems like quite a delay. Well, I'm happy that the victims are getting some restitution. I'm sure there's more than just 8, though. This sounds like a large paramilitary group that probably had a lot of control in Colombia. Yeah. The verdict sends a powerful message to corporations. Yeah, you corporations, you listen up. You will be held accountable when business decisions prioritize profits over human lives. That's right. Now, if we could get all the food companies in the United States to also abide by this principle, and then maybe they won't put poison in the food or very tiny plastics that are then going into my testicles. Chiquita pleaded guilty in 2007 to making over 100 payments to the UAC, totaling over $1.7 million, despite the group being designated a terrorist organization. Chiquita recorded the payments as, quote, security services, though the company never received any actual services from these payments, according to the U.S. Department of Justice Department. Well, I'm sure they received service, not exactly security services, but like we'll leave you alone services. This is kind of the cost of doing business in countries like this that are, not run by, but there are, I guess it's like mafiosa stuff, and it goes back, over 100 years. In fact, even today, I'd imagine in certain U.S. cities, maybe even someone mentioned to me Chicago, this stuff goes on where you still got to pay in certain neighborhoods the mob a little bit of money to do business. That was very common in the early 20th century in the U.S. It still goes on, man. It's happening in Mexico for sure. For sure. I covered a story about that. The story was about the tortilla industry and how their prices were going through the roof because they had to pay off these Mexican cartels down there. So this is very common around the world. I'd imagine Chiquita's not the only company. Chiquita's claim that it was forced to support the terrorists because it was itself the victim of extortion was a defense expressly rejected by the jury. Yeah, you would think, I don't want to defend Chiquita here, but, there are certain countries where you can't go to the government for help. Hey, man, the cartel came to my store and told me I had to give them some money. And then they're like, yeah, the cartel came to us too. They put a gun to our face and we got to pay them too. So, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough go in some of these countries like Colombia, like Mexico, like Argentina. I mean, the corruption. Now, it says here this paramilitary group disbanded. I'm assuming one took their place, but I hope not. I don't want to know that every time I'm eating a banana, I'm funding a gang operation. I don't want that on my conscience. I like bananas. I eat 2 a day. Yay! If you like spicy ramen, getting caught in the rain. If you like peeing out your bum hole from the spicy ramen. Hi, my friends. This is your trusty, dandy, reliable host, Jonesy. I just want to thank you for spending some time with me in the show. Please subscribe if you haven't. And tell a friend. That's helpful. I got a nice email here from Nat Bear. Sent me the spicy ramen story, which I'm grateful for. A couple of you sent me that story. It was wonderful. Let me see. Nat Bear wrote a nice little note here. Hope you're doing well, Jonesy. I've been in an absolutely terrible place mentally, but at least listening to your weird news has given me at least 20 minutes a day where I'm not constantly thinking about how crappy everything is. So thanks for that, really, Nat Bear. Well, we want to give a shout out to Nat Bear, and we want to tell Nat Bear that although you might be in a bad place right now mentally, this is the bottom. It will be better. It will be better, Nat. Just keep your head up, man. Keep listening to Weird AF News. I said man. I don't know if Nat Bear could be a gal. I don't know. Anyways, keep your head up, Nat. It's going to be all right. I'm in a terrible place mentally here and there. It's just part of life, man. It's, you can't have a crest of a wave without a trough of a wave. You know what I'm saying? That's some Zen stuff that I learned from Alan Watts. I don't know. Listen to Alan Watts, man. That's some good advice, actually. You all should listen to Alan Watts. His lectures are all over YouTube, and they'll put you in perspective, man. They'll let you know life is like, it's the yin and yang, man. It's the dark, it's the light. It's the up, it's the down. It's the positive, it's the negative. And these terrible places are completely normal. They happen. They come and go. It's like the tide, man. It ebbs and flows. But it will get better. It will get better. I was in a bad place. Oh man, I was in a bad place fairly recently, and but now I'm in an okay place. It turned around for me. It turned around, as it always does. I just have to think, it'll get better, because I've seen this before. This happens. This is the sort of like the pattern of life. I mean, if your whole life is amazing, like you're not an ordinary person. That's not normal when life is great all the time. It's just not normal. Yeah, it's my opinion. So you just take it as it comes, man. This is how it is, and you just go, all right, well, a year from now I'll probably be in an amazing place. So right now it's like this, but I don't know if any of this is helping. I just, I want to buck up my listeners. You know what I mean? I want to buck up Nat Bear and anyone who's listening to this podcast, because I get messages, man. People listen to my podcast because their life isn't so great. And I just got to let you guys know, man, it's this is just temporary. It's temporary, like anything else. Temporary. There's a couple of like universal laws that are true. Not everything is true. In fact, you can't find truth really in life. You can find true enough, but to be really true, but here's something that definitely is. The truth is, the real truth, it might be the only truth in the universe. Nothing lasts. Nothing lasts. Not your relationships, not your job, not your hopes, and not your terrible place mentally. That don't last either. None of this shit lasts. Everything's in flux. You never step into the same stream twice, as they say. Who said that? I think Heraclitus said that. I don't know. He was what was it called? A Neoplatonic philosopher, I believe. Jonesy, how do you know about all this stuff? I don't know, man. I read weird crap. I've been in some bad places, man. So I had to go into a deep dive into various philosophies and worldviews and meditation and all that, and it helps. It helps. Anyways, you guys are going to be all okay, and you can always email your buddy Jonesy and let me know. All right. You can even call the show too. 646-450-2012. The email's funnyjones@gmail.com. I love you guys. All right. Lastly, if anyone wants to support the show, tell a friend. That helps quite a bit. Get the word out there about Weird AF News. And then you can go to my website, weirdafnews.com, and buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. That's another way to support the show. All right, take care. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Good luck with your life, man. Really, seriously, good luck with your life, man. It's going to be okay.